More mic checks. This is the mic check. Mic check.
Blast me with your mics, fellas.
Blast me with your mics, fellows.
Mic check.
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 Chickity boo, bookity boo. Chickity pickety 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 boo. Are you live on YouTube?
Yes. Okay.
Mm-hmm. YouTube?
Yep, we're on both. Let's do it. Intro video.
Today, we are going to predict the future. We have 6 very brilliant minds with us today, and they can predict future failures, rain, weather, disease, markets,
My Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
It's too late for that, I think. If only we predicted that like 10 years ago.
Yeah, I think you are 10 years later,
Well,
Cody.
10 years late to the pizza party.
I'm sorry about that. Okay, so this TROM-Cast, we are going to do something very different. We're going to predict the future, and you should trust us because we are expecting nothing. Before we go into the topic, let me remind you that anyone can join this TROM-Cast trade free. You need just the Jitsi Meet link, and you just participate. But please participate if you know what we are talking about. So we just not random like, hey, let's talk about pizza. We don't do that kind of thing. And to get the link, go to tromsite.com/chat or tromsite.com/live. We post it there. We don't post it on those social networks because we don't consider them as being real. They're just ad networks. Go to TROM-Site. Okay, so let me just post the live link on Trom, the live, that YouTube live. We are live here. Okay, and now let's start with this time. We'll start with the news. Are you ready to start with a bit with the news, and then we try to predict that future? Are you ready, Cody? Because
all right,
all of the hopes lie in you. Let's go quickly through some news that we are stealing from tromsite.com/tools/news. Our curated news. We curate news from all around the world and this and that. Let's see what happened this past 2 weeks or so since we made the last TROM-Cast. Anything good, Cody? Anything bad?
Mozilla firing 25% of their workforce. Let's say about the future.
Yeah, it's interesting how it's more about, to me, this article about 2 things. One, people may not realize, but whenever they access the internet, usually at least on desktops, they use a browser. That's how you do it. What kind of browser? Well, most people just Google Chrome because that's their fucking default. Some say, okay, there are others like Internet Explorer or Firefox or Safari, but Google Chrome is like by far the most used. Like 90-something% of people use that. And Mozilla is kind of one of those non-for-profits who want to build an alternative browser. Why is this important? Because imagine if I'm Google and I own Chrome, I have full control over that shit. I can put whatever rules I want. I can make some websites work, some don't. And there are some cases that kind of showcase how Google intentionally didn't kind of fix some bugs that with some of their websites like Google Earth and so forth that didn't quite work well on Firefox. That was in their own interest. So imagine Google has these many products, right? So many, like Google Search, Google Earth, Google whatever. Let's say on Firefox, some of them don't work that well. Is Google that motivated to just make them work for Firefox? May not be. Actually, when they recommend you a browser for Google Earth, is Chrome. They say, okay, use Chrome for a better experience and so forth. And now this non-for-profit Mozilla makes this browser, laid off 25% of its employees, which is a lot. It means that they are kind of going downwards, and Google is going upwards. And one more interesting fact about this is that, from what I've read on Forbes and so forth, over 90% of Mozilla's finances come from Google. So isn't that interesting? Google kind of Firefox completely relies on Google for finances and so forth. So how do they do that? Google pays Firefox to make the Google.com search engine as their default engine. So that's how things work. Even when people say, "Oh, Mozilla is so much better," yes, okay, I use Mozilla, but with tweaks, here and there. So yeah, it's an interesting story and details about Mozilla.
Bye-bye, Mozilla.
Well, for now, not bye-bye, but...
I'm predicting the future to you. I'm predicting.
We are not yet to that.
Oh, yes, of course. No. Bye, Mozilla, I say.
But yeah, isn't it interesting that if your finances, 90% of your finances come from your competitor, basically? I mean...
Yeah, that's weird. It's very weird.
Yeah, so probably it's monopoly stuff or something like that. So
I love Monopoly.
Avoid all the evictions.
Yes, okay.
And then they can just basically shut them down then if they want to.
Of course.
So,
Of course.
So they will become better.
But they
than
keep them...
Google. Why not shut down?
Yeah.
After that.
They keep them around just to tell others that, no, we have competition, we are not a monopoly.
yeah.
Look at Mozilla, we finance them 90%. Yes, we're
Not only
competitors.
one, you can choose. You are free.
Yeah, you can.
Like presidential elections.
That's right.
You can choose.
Yeah.
You have.
Though
Exactly.
all of them are financed by the same fucking probably rich people.
Preposterous. All right.
Okay.
Well, how would you feel about reinvigorating TZM?
I wanted to just bring that into discussion because just a little bit, because I saw it in the TZM's newsletter. I'm trying to keep an eye on these organizations to see what they're doing. And I then I've read this post that is made quite a while ago, I think a month or so ago. Ideas about reinvigorating TZM, but and they showcase how the interest in TZM basically drops a lot. Like they say it's only like just 1% how it used to be and all of that. And what should they do? Should they do this or that? I just wanted to make a point that people get too obsessed with organizing, how to organize and reorganize. And I'm saying, just do something. Like, you don't have to look at this TROM-Cast. Who the fuck organized this TROM-Cast? I just had a discussion with Dima a year ago, and we're like, okay, let's just fucking do it, and still do it like a year or so later. New faces, new places, new people, new whatever, rhymes with people. But it works, or TROMJAR or whatever, just do them. Or last project from TROMland, completely managed by Alexio, really, because, well, he understands the idea behind, great job he does with that. He understands the idea behind TROM, this how trade is creating this environment that produces bad behaviors, and we make this trade-free goods and services basically online. So he understands that. He just does that. We don't even have a fucking chat room for TROMland. We don't need that, So I'm saying to people, I've seen this for so many years for the past 10 or so years with TZM and TVP specifically, but other organizations too. How to organize, how to name this, how to name that, what should we do next? If you understand what you are about, you will do something. You don't need a team. You don't need anything. Honestly, you don't. You just do something. So just do something. Don't just organize. You want to make a podcast? Do the podcast. You don't have to think so much about this, make Google Notes or whatever. So I think that's why Trom still works, and we still do stuff because I pushed for a different kind of approach. This more like unorganized doingness. People want to do something, do it, my friend. No, you don't have to join any Trom team or whatever. Recently, this Spencer guy, he makes some really cool Trom-Jaro icons for our Trom-Jaro operating system. How does he do that? We have a chat room for Trom-Jaro, but we talked over email. He's like, yeah, I want to do icons. I'm like, okay, you have this kind of icons, you can do them. And he does them. And great, perfect. And then he contributes to Trom-Jaro and so forth. Like Roma also helped with Trom-Jaro, from whenever he can and with whatever he can. And Sasha is like scheduling posts on the social networks and so forth. Look at Cody. Look at this guy. He's like TROM-Cast DJ for the past 1 year. And so he's there all the time, He's just doing it. So, yeah.
So more
if
doing.
you want to do something, do it.
Do it.
Sorry, what? No.
Oh no, I was just gonna say just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah, that's the point.
Stop organizing the organization.
More organization.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because do they mean like more decentralized or more centralized approach? I'm not sure when they talk about organization. Like you got decentralized or you got centralized. I'm not sure.
Centralized centralization.
Centralized. Yeah, that's.
Well, if you're not really doing anything, then it doesn't matter how centralized or decentralized it is, because what are you centralizing and decentralizing?
Oh man.
Yeah, just do stuff. Why are people so obsessed with like, oh, what should we do? What will be the roadmap? What should be the... there's another thing, actually. I think I kind of understand why this is. At Rome, I think we kind of streamlined what the main focus is. Like, look at this thing called trade and explain very well. And then if you get the idea, you can do stuff with Rome or without Rome. But when it comes to these kind of organizations, from what I can tell, they are a bit like too complicated, too all over the place, if I can say that. Like what is TZM or what is TVP? They will tell you so many things. Like it's a train of thought that deals with like the social economic structure of markets and this and that. And people may not know, like, okay, so what is it? Or TVP? Okay, so what do we do now? Maybe that's a factor, maybe making it simpler. Like say, okay, trade is the source of most problems, and explain in detail why. And we do some trade with goods and services here and there, trade stuff. Makes it easier probably for people to just join in. It's like the open source. They join in, understand the idea, join in. You don't have to organize from much at all. So maybe that's also a factor. But yeah, I wanted to just mention that.
Yeah, I guess company also need to create like new working places and so on. So that's become more people that's just trying to do the planning and so on. So just to create this kind of layer between the final product and the initial guys who do the stuff, So it's kind of maybe little, but still might be the reason why it's so organizing and so on.
Yeah, I don't think people should organize these organizations like companies. That'll be a mistake because you rely on volunteers. We used to kind of jokingly say this among a few of us that TVP, from my experience, it's almost like trying to be a company that relies on volunteers. Trying to run a company with volunteers.
Yeah, that's great.
It's like that's their attitude. Is like they expect from volunteers to do stuff, and they don't quite do much, from my experience and so forth. But let's not go into TVP. Open that can of.
Put it back. Put it back.
Put it back. We'll talk in the future in another TROM-Cast about our experience with TVP. But yeah, that was the news.
All right, on to Hackaday. Hackaday had some things for us.
Yeah, but the news was that Google accidentally activated some of its speakers to listen into household events without the wake-up word. And then they said, oh, sorry about that.
Whoopsie.
He promised next time not to do it,
Oh, yes. Scout's honor.
This happened to me a few times with my stupid Google phone, because I still have a stupid Google phone. And it happened like I was with Sasha, Sasha was driving, and we were, I don't know, in some place, and I say something, I make a joke about the place. And then Google wakes up and then says like, I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you mean about whatever. I'm like, what the fuck?
So creepy.
I'm like, Google, delete that thing. It's like, okay, I will delete that thing, and next time, blah, 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 blah. And that wasn't the only time. It happened to me a few times. Maybe if I know, okay, Google. Oh, no, okay, now it doesn't want, but yeah.
I didn't ask you.
Only when she wants, or he wants, or it wants.
It's right.
Yeah. So these smart devices in people's homes are more and more intrusive. That's the point here, And these big companies, even if they are, even if you find out about such things, they're like, oh, oopsie daisy. Next time we'll be more careful. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, it's like a nothing thing. I feel like we hear about these things all the time. Like some smart device is listening to you, then another one is listening to you. It's always Google. Google is always listening.
Always listening.
Yeah, and speaking
Alexa.
about the freedom of choice here, so even if you want to change to something else, like not the Google phone or like controlled by Google services, they say that like the competition and the market gives you a freedom of choice, So, and where is my phone without Google services and something like that? So I have basically two choices: Apple and Android-based phone, and that's it. So
Democrats and Republicans.
Yeah. I was thinking exactly that. The douche or the asshole.
That's right.
Yeah.
Pick the latter.
Yeah. So I think some of our predictions will be based around this kind of article. You'll see.
Technology.
The future.
some oopsies.
Yeah. Whoops. Did we do that?
Oops.
A tech antitrust hearing misses the point.
Oh, don't do Canadian with us, man, because we don't understand that.
It's from the place and Google and the Facebooks, and they all got in the same room together. Oh man! Did
anyone saw that fuckery? Is like the government in US is like, oh, let's hold responsible these big boys, and they invite people from Google, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, all of them on this conference call, which is very funny to see. Is like all these motherfuckers on this conference call, and then they're like shooting like all kinds of questions at them. It was such a shit show, basically accusing them of so many things, and they're like, oh no, we care about our customers, hello, we care about customers. No, it's like a robotic kind of thing, almost like calling tech support. Yes, everything is fine. Listen to this music.
That's my favorite song.
And I watched the bit because it was like hours and hours. Oh my god, such a fucking shit show. Oh my god. For one, those people in parliament don't understand what these tech giants are doing. Second, these giants just don't provide any answers to anything. It's like what I remember is this memo, not memo, but they have proof that Mark Zuckerberg, who is part robot, part human, he tried to bribe the guy who owned Instagram on messages. He was like, we are either together or we compete with each other and we adopt your features and you go out of business. Basically, kind of that's what he said. And then he bought Instagram, and then the guy from Instagram complained and sued Facebook. Good luck with that. And they're asking Zuckerberg about that, and Zuckerberg was like, again, I think we want to provide the best service. It's like nothing, fucking nothing. Of course, you get nothing out of these motherfuckers.
Yeah, like politicians.
Oh yeah, isn't that funny? Politicians miss politicians. And they got frustrated with those tech giants not answering the question. So that's what you do all day.
Yeah.
And one funny thing was that they discovered that in a private Facebook message that Zuckerberg was bragging about wanting to buy Google to his employees. Like, yeah, let's just wait a bit more and then we buy Google and this and that. But the article has a different flavor. They say that all of these things that we say now, but they say, because this is from the Free Software Foundation, they say, why didn't this politician address the core problem? And they say the core problem here is private software, because of these companies on private, like on closed source software. That's why they can be so bullies with others, right? And that's the point of these articles, which I kind of disagree with. Even if it's open source or proprietary, they will make. I mean, the trades there are the problem. Not the fact that Firefox wants to, not Firefox, even they want to, but Google and Amazon and others, they want just profits. So yeah, the point of this article, with the free software movement, I think it's a great movement, great idea for the software to be open and available for everyone. But they make a point that that shouldn't stop anyone from selling it. So to me, that means they don't understand the bad incentives there, because once you start to sell and I've seen that with even free and open source software, you sell the software, you will add premium features that are closed source or whatever, or premium support, or you make it very difficult for people to install this software, so you need help, and that's paid for a plethora of problems. That's why I would rather prefer trade free and open source software rather than just free and open source software. That's the difference there. Yeah.
Because then you still have the potential to turn into these like crazy giants, these monopolies that take advantage of all kinds of power.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, maybe even Alexa or others, again, this AI software can use parts of them to be open source and free or whatever, but they rely on service or whatever the fuck they sell. It can be easy to transform free and open source software eventually into a trade-based for profit thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have a few more.
Skin cancer deaths, Public Health England plans, and one-shot radiotherapy.
This is more about it's interesting. It's a 150% rise in UK skin cancer deaths since the 70s. So even for me, they made me maybe now use more sunscreen, because I'm too tough to wear sunscreen sometimes. But it's a huge increase in skin cancer, and they think that it's because of the sun. Because
No way.
UK people from UK are so pale that when they go into the sun, they melt.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah. So be careful, people. Wear sunscreen. It was this cool video that was inspirational back in the 2010 or something. It was called "Wear Sunscreen," and they were talking about life and this and that. But they say, whatever you do, just wear sunscreen. I think it was an ad for fucking sunscreen thing, but it was
Promotion. Okay. Sad news.
Mm-hmm.
YTS torrent giant is part of a bizarre and brand new anti-piracy scheme. They're trying to get
Did you read that?
I did read this one. I don't like it. I don't like it.
What's this about?
They're betraying us, Theo. They're betraying us. They're harvesting the datas.
Oh,
And they're sharing it with the authorities.
Yeah, this ITS is the second largest torrent-based website, and they provide quality movies and documentaries and so forth. And they were kind of poked at by authorities a few years ago, and they kind of cooperated with authorities now, and they, without telling anyone. So it's such a big mess. It's like they kept the website operational. The website is owned by a legal company in the UK. So basically, it's a legal company, but it runs a fucking torrent website. How is that? And whoever visited the website and downloaded torrents and so forth, all of the data was shared with authorities for the past year or so. Why? Well, of course, why is because they want to catch the criminals, right? But it's not as simple as that. You know what they're doing? They get your IP, email address, and so forth, and then lawyers from the companies that these guys cooperate with, they send you an email and say, if you pay €1,000 or dollars, we drop off all of the accusations. If you don't, you downloaded this kind of movies and whatever, and we come after you. So they're like bullying people into like, give us money, $1,000. Yeah,
dang.
that's what they're doing. But the funny thing is that
That's
It's a fucking
torrents.
shakedown.
Yeah. it's fucked up. But torrents, they're not the files. They are just the information, contain the information about the file. So you cannot be accused of downloading from this ITS website a torrent file, because there's nothing. You don't download the movie itself. You just don't download the information about the movie. So I don't think they can even do anything about this. But it's a very interesting story because it's the second largest torrent website in the world. So things, it's charlatans.
Charlatans.
All for the profit.
Ugh.
Yeah.
That's why you always use VPN or a proxy.
Who can you trust anymore?
Yeah, speaking of VPNs, we will ship probably the next TROM-Jar with Aaron found a trade-free VPN, like the first one that we found.
Where?
They don't want anything
What
from
is
you. It's really great. Works quite well. It's from a university, I think. The project is started by a university or a research brand from the university, research section of the university. But it's really good. So we still test it, but yeah, there are trade-free alternatives there too, which is really cool. Yes, sir. Did you see this big explosion lately from Beirut?
I have seen that big
so cool.
explosion.
Crazy.
Yeah, I gave you the link, Cody. Didn't you put it?
I have the
I
link.
gave you in Trom main. Let's put that explosion.
That was insane.
Let's see that explosion.
looks
Again.
Yeah, there it goes now. Yes, very big.
We cannot see, but what the fuck is that?
Yeah. Oh.
Ain't gonna know.
Yeah, it was a huge,
Yeah.
a huge motherfucking explosion in Beirut. It looked fake at one. First time I saw it, I was like, "That's fucking fake." It looks like a nuclear explosion. Yeah. What is even more interesting about that explosion is this detailed article in OCCRP's, it's Investigative Journalism Organization. It's a big article, but to put it shortly, trades fuck things up. Even here, they're quite to blame. They had this substance that is used as fertilizer, as far as I understand. But if you store it and it gets lots of moist into it, it can become explosive. So it was this black market of transporting tons of these materials with a ship that was owned by a company from Moldova, but actually from someone from like fucking Bahamas to like Panama to like a lot of money laundering there. And basically, they ended up with that ship in Lebanon. And they're like, oh, we are investigated by the police. The ship is so fucked up, we cannot drive it anymore. So they left there tons of this material. And then these Lebanese people, they just put in a fucking deposit there and be like, yeah, just throw it here for fuck's sakes, and forget about it, So at one point, it kind of kaboom, exploded like a motherfucker, and just, it looks terrible, like the explosion, the aftermath is like, fuck me, that's immense, And just it goes to show that if you were to remove these trade incentives, people will not do this kind of shit. You don't have to tell people what to do, how to transport that fucking shit, where to store it, what to do with it. No, they do this badly because they want some profits there. They do it to get something else in return. So, yeah, it's a big article, very well made, and sources and all of that. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, and you wouldn't have to just like abandon it and leave it there, in fear of whatever, just being bankrupt.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
That's how it is. And the last one,
I have two.
okay.
Unless one is related to that. I have climate change is driving the wildfires. Rocket fuel.
Yeah, it seems to.
Yeah, it seems like there's more and more mega fires. Like they're getting bigger and stronger, and they're fueled by all kinds of different things. But of course, climate change. There's an interesting DW documentary that came out recently that we saw. It's quite interesting about the science behind these fires, and probably in our future predictions, we can predict that they'll get worse.
Shit.
We are getting there now.
Oh, yes.
Okay, speaking of that, let's see. Let's get into our main subject, okay?
Okay.
Future prediction. Okay, predictions about the future. And let me, with the great honor, let the clairvoyant Sasha take it from here, because she was quite her idea in a way.
It wasn't really my idea. We watched like a little while ago. We watched this like video of this guy from the 50s or something. This young guy who was making all kinds of predictions about the year 2020 or 2000 or whatever it was.
Sure, yeah.
He made some funny predictions that were kind of right, like talking about smartphones and things like that. Like not naming it smartphones, but saying that, you know, oh, maybe there'll be something like a device like that you can hold and then, you know, connect with people and something like that. And then he made, of course, a lot of off predictions. He predicted that we'd have a cure for cancer, which we don't. So I just thought it would be funny to do one TROM-Cast where we can all kind of just, you know, ponder about what the future could be like.
Yeah.
See, that's your idea.
Yes.
What was your idea? A while ago. What was our idea? Okay, it doesn't matter who's.
Okay. But you had this like more specific idea of like predicting how, like, for us to like engage a bit differently with the subject.
So I was thinking that like at first we can maybe make predictions about what we'll think it will be like, say in 2050. So just 30 years from now. Hopefully we'll all be alive.
Oh no.
You know, because it's, you know, close by and because things are changing quite rapidly. And then we can also talk about like the far distant future.
Oh,
what
yes.
things would be like. So
should we start with one for each of us, like a big one or something?
Yeah, so Cody, what do you think? Or
Me?
Cody, what do you think?
Me?
The year 2050. What can you?
Oh, 2050. Oh yes, I see it now. The year 2050.
And of course, this is just our whatever. We'll probably be wrong about a lot of.
100% accuracy, I guarantee it.
100%.
Wedding lottery numbers are coming up for the year 2023. Pay attention, dudes. Elon Musk does the Neuralink thing, and that starts the beginning stages of the hive mind.
What?
Oh yes, my friend. The hive mind is
more
going
details.
to become more details. Everybody's brain, we understand the brain on a level that we can hook up an interface to it. Everybody has the same interface, and you can start to, well, he's talking about basically it would be a level of like telepathy that you would be doing something in your brain. It would be represented or transferred or injected into somebody else's brain.
Like Amazon or Google.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
Directly into people's
exactly.
brains.
Yes. Yes. Oh,
They'll
yes.
have to buy brain space.
You need to
brain ads.
Yes, brain ads for Pepsi. Absolutely. Oh
no.
They're unescapable, my friend, because they're already in there. You can't even close your eyes to escape from them. They'll play in your dreams.
Oh God.
But the hive mind isn't necessarily a bad thing. The hive mind can be good because it should be looking out for itself as a organism. So I think our path there will be trepidatious. But once we reach there, if we do not destroy ourselves in the process of this great fantastical power, we might actually be able to... Well,
I don't really get what it is.
the hive mind is a collective consciousness. It's basically that we'd have access to... I mean, it's like memes are now, right? That, I mean, when Tiger King came through, it just... everybody was fucking Tiger King, right? Fucking Carol Baskin, am I right? That's right.
Yeah.
So it's the same concept that it's the explosion. It's these things, right? And they talk about it, and it becomes this collective consciousness. But now you actually have this, like, inescapable news feed, almost like directly wired into your brain. Who knows, like, what kind of bugs are gonna fucking come out of that? Oh, you accidentally saw a commercial for whatever the crap. But that you have this hyper connectivity between the different people. So right now you kind of have individual people. You've had your own individual experiences growing up through life. Like, yeah, they're similar, but you've had your own flavors and whatever. So we're different enough from each other that we can't, we can communicate somewhat. We have the language barriers. We have cultural barriers, whatever. Having this hyper-connectedness, the internet is like a precursor. This would be like the internet in your brain kind of thing. And that you'd have these, with technology evolving, we'll have like the on-the-fly translations kind of thing. Like, I'll just be able to understand Teo when he's threatening me in Romanian and shit. Yeah, right? Right? You will know. You'll know these things because you downloaded the language pack. Why? Because it's mandatory. Elon Musk said, yes, you will know Arabian.
I've heard about this idea, but I have so many doubts. Not only that it starts with Musk, which I'm like, there we go, Musk again. He's going to save the world one more time.
I don't know. I wouldn't
before.
You can't set out. I don't think you can set out to save the world. I think it becomes it's like emergent. The hive mind is like an emergent phenomenon. Once people are like, you basically have people on the same wavelength, like the same things are in their mind. Like, it's like if we were trying to reach people with the idea of trade free. And we're trying to do that big data dump, like, oh, go read the book. Oh, check out the documentary. And then, work with it for a little bit and blah, 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 blah. This is almost like instantaneous. I mean, if you're talking about writing to the brain, if you're talking about...
all of our experiences are what define us. So it doesn't matter if you can download a book in whatever brains. It's our past experiences, how we interpret that, I think. So unless you make complete clones of our brains, which means there's just one thing, then, and I'm a bit skeptical when you mix together with Amazon, Bezos, and Musk, all of our brains. I think it'll become a very big monster.
Oh, it will be a big, big monster, my friend. I think this can lay down. It's like this would be like the infrastructure for a hive mind to exist.
Another thing, we're talking about 2050, right? So it's just 30 years in the future. Right now, we cannot even replicate a brain that is, or an artificial intelligence that is as smart as the cockroaches, as a cockroach, as a little bug. So it should be an extremely advanced, project or whatever to make it, because you have to understand the brain, basically. Not only understand the brain, but then manipulate it. Look at the things that we do with genes. There are a few decades of us understanding what genes are. But even so, it's very difficult to understand them fully or manipulate them. So if you apply that to the mind, it's like first you have to understand the mind and then to be quite sure how to manipulate it in this kind of way. So I have my doubts.
They have the trade game motivating them towards such ends, Teo. It's
only if it's commercial.
Well, exactly. I'm not contesting that at all. This will definitely be a pursuit for profits. Yes.
Okay.
I just don't understand it a little bit. I'm just confused.
Oh, the hive mind. So it would be a beehive. Like, that's an idea of a hive mind. Like, that whole system is functioning as a unit, as if it were.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they'll sacrifice themselves for the greater good. Like, it's automatic kind of thing. It's that level, but on a human scale. If you ever played like Mass Effect, they had some dudes in there that Legion. And it was just like a series of... We take Teo's brain, right?
Yeah.
And we could replicate that infinitely. And then there's an army of Teos out there doing trade-free things in the universe. Okay?
Whoa.
He would be the hive mind. And it would be a group of Teos that all understand the Teo and understand his ideas and are like maximum efficiency as far as they can to work together towards that end.
And we start with Musk, if you didn't understand.
I think, yes.
The same thing, but with Musk.
Whatever Musk's hopes and dreams are, that's where it's going to be built.
Whoa.
But there are some things like when you say something like, for instance, like bees who sacrifice for the greater good. Or I think these are stories that people tell themselves. there are no bees sacrificing for the greater good. I doubt that. It's anthropomorphism, whatever you call it. Like,
well, like they'll save the queen and shit. They'll save the queen.
The human
Save the
projection
queen.
of what the bee is doing.
yeah.
Look at the bee. Look at the bee. He's saving me.
So yeah, we'll see about that. I'll give it 1 star out of 5.
I
don't like.
I'll treasure that star forever. Yes. Oh yes, it will come to pass.
Let's see what else we have.
Ah.
Which one is next, Sasha? Which one do you nominate?
Alexia.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. Now, can you hear me?
Yes.
Very well.
It's a little bit quiet.
Okay.
It's a bit quiet, yeah.
Actually, I can improve a little bit, I hope.
Let's see.
Modification.
Okay, now it's better.
Yeah.
Try to... Okay, I will try to speak a little bit louder.
Oh yeah.
To be better understood. I shared with you on the public chat, if I'm not mistaken, a quote I like very much. It's from a science fiction book, but it raises 3 important questions: how, why, and where. And I think we should take these questions and put them in our discussions context. And when we try to make a prediction, we can ask these 3 questions, like how can we achieve something, why, and where. And this approach, I think, can help us to identify some realistic predictions. And I also shared the website I enjoyed very much, futuretimeline.net. Maybe you should mention.
I'll check that out.
Presentation. Actually, it's one of the best presentations I know about our topic from today. So future timeline, if you search it, also with our search engine.
I went through all of this. All of the website is it's interesting things. Yeah.
You have also some predictions made at the beginning of this millennia, of this century actually, and they are also posted on the same website. And it's interesting to see how they managed to make a prediction for the last 20 years on the same website, and what are they trying to present for the future, because you will see most of the predictions there are related to some kind of events that can be easily predicted. And I can give you an example, a recent one. Until this year, it was like a future event, the Olympics, scheduled in Japan this year. But as you know, due to the situation worldwide, today these Olympic Games will be rescheduled, I think, next year, maybe, or maybe cancelled. We don't know yet. And this is one example of prediction on this website, futuretimeline.net. This kind of prediction, an event with schedule to repeat from time to time, like 4 years.
Yeah, like you can predict that the next Olympics will be whenever, because they already scheduled it now, for the...
And we hope this kind of event will be for a very long time for humankind. But as you know, this Olympic Games started at a larger scale of time in a blink of an eye, because if we take the estimated age of the universe or of our planet, this kind of event is quite insignificant at the larger scale. And it may even change in the future. Maybe it will be not the Earth game, it will be like solar system game and so on. Maybe the galactic game, we don't know. I make this exaggeration a little bit because we need to define the context always. We can make a prediction related to a serious event we predict to happen in the near future, like a few days, a few years, or for a larger time span. Like we can predict an event like a solar eclipse, like a comet to pass by Earth, like a meteorite, which is one dangerous one, I think, in a few years, we approach Earth. All these kind of events that can be scientifically estimated, predicted, can be also found on this kind of presentation from Future Timeline website. But regarding this topic, I think you want to hear my point of view, not
something something juicy, something clickbait. Like, are we going to die, Alexia, in 30 years?
Or will be maybe immortals? We don't know. And I can give you an example, another one. I am a little bit science fiction passionate guy, but there is a book I like very much and also recommended to you last year. The Metamorphosis of Prime Intellect. Maybe you remember a little bit what it's all about. It's about a supercomputer who becomes self-aware, and it's like a singularity type of event. He becomes to control all the universe, all the reality. I already said this science fiction idea, but maybe not far from truth, because as you already mentioned, hive mind and maybe supercomputers, artificial intelligence may develop at a certain level where it obviously interacts with the environment in a way we cannot even imagine at present time. So maybe we will have some kind of artificial intelligence who can not replace us like humans, but change the way we are doing things. Like many repetitive tasks, many things we are forced to do, maybe also at present time we need to do certain chores and so on, but not in also in real world, but in virtual world, like answering some emails and being careful when we receive some important message, but not always we get notified and so on. But to get with my personal future prediction, the future will be very different from the one we can imagine now. And why I'm saying that? Because what we are trying to say when we make a prediction is based on something we know from the past. But the future may bring new technologies, new ideas, new stuff
approaches
we don't know about, new approaches, like the internet. If you talked about this kind of technology like 100 years ago to someone, so not very far from our present time, may sound a little bit strange for that person to speak about a device that enables us to communicate, to share information, to find almost anything we can imagine now, like documentaries, movies, and contact people all over the world at the same moment. Like we have the opportunity to even contact people not only on planet Earth, but on the International Space Station. I watched recently some live streaming on a popular streaming platform. You know what I'm talking about. And it was very interesting. Anyone could share a question and maybe get some answer from people who are not on the surface of the Earth, but in nearby space. And maybe in the future, but the distances in the universe are very huge, so it's difficult to say we can we may communicate like we do now on Earth with people from another planet, maybe in the future. So these kind of predictions are based on anything that we already know, but maybe it's a new technology we can even explain in our words now that will appear in a few thousand years. We don't know. And
but from what you know,
yes.
today, like what about 2050? What do you think is going to be something that is quite likely to happen, like a big thing in 2050? Because we will go like further and further in time to
yes, I know. We will be realistic and say something that we can maybe observe during our lifetime. Actually, it's clear for me that current technology will be in general not very different in the next 20 to 30 years. Why I'm saying that? Because as you already explained, the trade world needs to make profits, and the technology will be almost the same in the next years, but with some small innovation each 2 or 3 years to make profits for the companies, for the ones who are bringing to the people the things we are using. Like I already heard about mobile phones with certain operating systems and technologies. My
innovators.
point of view, yes, innovators, but as we see, there are small innovations, so no disruptive innovations, like something unheard of. Actually, as I already mentioned, things are evolving almost in a linear way. So we can make a prediction: the speed of our computer will double after a few years, and so on. We will have also maybe variations of the devices we are using now. But most important is not only to speak about technology, but about the things who are contributing to this technology to work. So from my field of activity is not only the informational part like computers, but also about engineering energy. It's an important topic also, because without energy our devices are not functional.
So tell me that in the future we can give like a Mars bar to a robot and it can extract the same energy like we extract. Because that will be really interesting. How come we can eat a sandwich and have energy for like 4 or 5 days? But a robot is like, oh my god, these huge batteries, and it's like dying in 1 hour. You see that kind of like maybe using biology and chemistry to provide energy like we do with food.
It's also a technology problem, but not only this. Actually, what we are trying to imagine now is heavily based on ideas who are sometimes promoted, as I mentioned, in science fiction materials, stories. But this kind of ideas become reality after some time, and they are not only a virtual representation of our ideas. It becomes reality. And how it happens? Starting with an objective, like I mentioned, the 3 questions: how, where, and why. We need to have a better understanding of the needs of our needs, but not also our needs, our objective. What is our goal when we want to have something, to achieve something? And when we speak about technology, it's a little bit tricky, because there are limitations, some physical limitations. Like you cannot have a device who will function forever. As you mentioned, battery. We need to have some kind of device who lasts long enough for our device function as we want to, but at a certain point we need to recharge that battery. And if we try to imagine a different technology when we don't need to recharge a battery and stuff like that, we step to another kind of technology, like something we have already similar, the high-level phones now have this functionality to be charged wirelessly. So you don't need to plug something
like mine.
to your device.
This
Yes.
Google Brick. It's like talking to me when I don't want to. Just charging wirelessly now. I have no escape.
Actually, there are some researches about devices who are using some technologies to recharge from movement, for example. Like there are watches, mechanical watches, and if you wear for a long time that watch and you move a lot,
it feeds from you. It's going to eat you probably in the future.
Oh, yeah.
But I know, I know this one's creepy.
Actually, manages to store mechanical energy that can be used later.
So that's your prediction.
But actually, my prediction is we are very dependent on the current technology, which is based on computers and electronics. And maybe a future technology can be very different, like, I don't know, maybe I can exaggerate, but
please exaggerate.
I was very passionate about also some fiction stories about using crystals and communicating using only our minds, like telepathy, and some alternative means that's not technological, but some other means of doing things. These are not scientific, I know, from the point of view of a scientist, but there are some kind of researchers, like, I don't know, psychologists and some people who are maybe taking seriously some strange ideas and trying to build some devices, like I learned a few years ago, wearing a helmet with electrodes. They can detect your brain waves, and actually you can use this device to control a computer mouse, for example, the arrow on a screen and so on. So this may be useful, this kind of technology, for people with disabilities. So it depends on our objective, what we want to achieve with something, be it technology or some other approach. Maybe we consider it not very scientific now, but it may become very serious if we manage to understand how it works. I gave some exaggerated examples to point out that we don't need to focus only on technology.
Yeah, so because we have to like compress it a bit, so all of us go to like 50 years and 100 years and 1,000 years, so it'll be a lot of that's why I want to just let's try to like be brief and try to like say what do we think is going to be like if now in 2050 and then in 100 years and in 200. So because we need to rate all of these things. And so if that will be like someone will force you with a gun, like, hey, Alexio, tell me in 2050, the biggest discovery, whatever one, the biggest innovation, how the future will be from that perspective, or what will be there. One thing we want from you that is important. What would you say, Alexio?
What's important, as far as I know for now, it's a way to help with climate change issues and to the environment pollution today. So, there are very big issues with garbage in Pacific, for example, with fires in Australia or Brazil recently. So we need to find a solution to protect the environment and to prevent such tragic events to happen. So maybe a technology to help with this will be something that will be very necessary, not useful.
Sasha, microphone. The microphone is muted. What are you doing? That's it.
Like to take CO2 directly out of the air kind of technologies you're talking about, or anything specific in terms of predictions?
We need specific things. I know, Alexio, that you're a professor and you don't want to
realistic.
don't be too realistic, because we are going to fuck this up completely, I'm sure. Even if we're realistic, we're like way off.
I got 1 star.
He got 1 star, you see? You can do better. 2 stars. So if you have something like specific, about a technology that you think that in terms of climate change will have a big impact, like nuclear reaction or something, do you have something in mind about that? Okay, they give you 3 stars. How about that?
I'll take 3 stars.
No, I don't give you 3 stars. No, but Alexio explained very well. Of course, we want to just keep this mostly about less predictable stuff. Of course, he explained very well that it depends so much on what you want to do. You have to put a lot of mental processes into trying to see how the future will be, to have an educated guess. We're not going to do that much of that today because, of course, it's like just a TROM-Cast. We want to say some ideas, one after the other, so we have more time for each other. So if you want to tell us something specific, Alexio, about from your imagination there, or even if it's science fiction about 2050, if not, we can go to other ideas and then forward. So
okay. So you want to run my imagination without physics and predict something
something interesting.
Something really interesting would be
2050.
Would be to manage to have a type 1 or 2 civilization, like control all the environment of the Earth in a way that's not possible now. So we can control the climate, we can travel like near the speed of light.
By 2050?
Yes.
No.
Yes. I like Alexio's world. 5 stars.
There may be some technologies that are hard to understand now and may be discovered quicker than we can guess. So that's why I'm trying to.
So we have a hive mind. We have a hive mind. We talk to Elon Musk directly, and we have things that are faster than the speed of light, kind of thing. We don't know what they are, but okay.
I said near the speed of light.
Near the speed of light. Okay. I'll give you 2.5 stars just because I doubt it. I would love to. I would love to. I'll give myself 1 star. Don't worry about that. Half a star I'll give myself. Who's next, Sasha?
Roman.
Yeah, I'm pretty in agreement with all the guys, but what I see in near future, I guess it's like the best and the obvious thing that we will get. I guess it's like this vocal assistants, which annoying Theo a lot. But I think it will be like a thing more and more in our lives, and with all the IoT devices around, like the smart homes, I don't know, and shit. So of course it's a big question about the privacy and so on. So it's like an inevitable thing that only big companies will continue to grow and progress with such technologies like the assistants and so on. But I see that it's like a big trend right now. Probably, now we have them in the very restricted way. Like we only can make some calls, some memos on, I don't know, send a message with that and be the dictation.
You mean AI assistants?
Yeah. So it's not like
artificial intelligence.
It's not like fully fledged artificial intelligence. Like you can speak with that. Probably some of you watched the film movie. I remember Her or something like that, where the guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the guy basically dated his operating system. So
sounds like an interesting movie.
It was good.
It's
It's good. It's good.
It's good.
Almost like dating TROM-Jaro in a way.
Yeah. If TROM-Jaro could talk to you.
Yeah.
Hi,
Can you
TROM-Jaro.
imagine that?
Hey.
What kind of three
Sounds
things
like
can
a
you do for me?
Whatever you program it to do.
So yeah, so cooking and stuff, you know.
Oh
all
yeah.
the lovely things. So and basically, so of course it's like if you're speaking about 30 years or something like that, it's like not that level of the like of personality to the artificial intelligence, but I think they will be more and more like similar to like behave like people or something like that. Of course, it's still be artificial in kind of way, so it's not like talking with another person or something like that. But I think it's more and more will be like the usual day-by-day thing, just to make some things with the voice, to do some basic tasks, yeah, with your voice, with dictation and so on.
So you think that we'll interact more through this kind of AI assistance with our devices?
Yeah, because it's now for me it's a little bit clear that all the kind of things like typing keyboards, like all these pointing devices, they are already too old for current days, because they were invented like a lot of time ago already. So of course it's kind of like a progression of how we can manage the interaction between the system and you. So of course it cannot, like, probably in the 30 years it will not like replace completely the things of that, because sometimes we'll like need to back up again to do some stuff and so on. But I think it will be more and more in our lives, so probably it's like not, again, speaking about the science fiction and so on, so probably some time ago we saw in the films like you can control your room or some like interfaces, like the holographical interfaces and something like that with that. But I think in the reality it's more about the vocal things, with the communication with the systems, and do some commands by the voice and something like that.
So AI assistants that will be like more human-like, but not completely there. We use them for many of our tasks.
It will not replace like people and stuff, and on the conversation, or the like you can just live with all the people. Of course it will
but it will be a big improvement compared to today.
Yeah, I think so.
A huge one. I'll give you 5 stars for the
wow.
For the realism. I think it's a lot very likely. And I should.
You wait for the hive mind, my sir. You wait for the hive mind. And we'll see.
Wait till we rate you two.
Yes, I cannot wait. I give you 1 star, not for you, but for like the fact that Google and Amazon probably will own those fucking things.
Yes.
Like 2.5.
You give 1 star to Google and Amazon?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
Damn it, Google. Thank you.
No.
I go?
Yeah.
That's
All right.
your prediction.
From the darkness.
By 2050, the Earth is a nuclear wasteland.
Yeah.
The only surviving people
Yes.
are in the Mars base, controlled by our overlord, Elon Musk now.
Oh, praise Musk. Oh, praise Musk.
He'll be the savior. Well, actually, by 2050, the best thing I could say is that for technology-wise, it's more renewable energy that just makes sense to go to renewables, and oil just starts dropping off, or coal. But culturally-wise, I would say that the best thing I hope for by 2050 is that this idea starts spreading and people start realizing the incompetence. People start realizing the incompetence of their world leaders and politicians, and they start like searching for what causes problems and stop calling people like evil or good. And they want to understand what makes people behave. I hope that these ideas get more across and they just become general.
I bet you people have been saying that for like thousands of years.
I think Noel wants 5 stars from me. Don't go there. I hope you're right. I hope you are right.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you
I want the space base. I want the space base on Mars, and Elon Musk becomes our god. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
5 stars, 6 stars.
We'll probably have a space base on Mars, I'm sure.
Woohoo. It's not your turn, Sasha.
Okay.
yeah. You go ahead.
Go to. Wait, you wanted to say
Me?
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
I can be very negative.
I'm ready for your 1-star review, sir. Let me.
But I'm not going to be negative for this one. Okay.
Ooh.
Look, I'll say briefly. I think that we are going to cure most cancers, and it's going to be with one shot, one opportunity. Was this poet who said that? One shot, one opportunity. Eminem.
Mom spaghetti.
Yeah, I think from what I see now in the research going with cancer, I think we will not be scared of cancer anymore in 30 years, and it will be a vaccine probably that will cure most cancers, not all cancers, but most common cancers. That's my prediction in 30 years. No more cancer. No more cancer. Let's see how Cody gives me 1 star for this, because you will get cancer if you do
Oh man, why?
What, you don't want that?
Forsaken me. I'll give you 3 stars for anti-cancer stuff. I guess that's all right. That's pretty okay. And yeah, but maybe some people should have. Yeah.
I think I'll give you 5 stars actually, because I really hope that you're right. I really hope that we will cure most cancers.
And you don't hope Elon Musk has a space base.
Maybe a few stars less though, because you said with a vaccine.
Yeah, I specifically say with a vaccine. Keep that in mind. It works because well, I'll tell you now, Sasha.
Oh.
Yeah, tell me how.
Yeah. I know. Here's the thing, because they're already doing trials with that. They will train your T cells, your defender cells there to recognize most types of cancers. So they will be ready. You get a pancreatic cancer, bam! Lung cancer, we skip that because cigarettes and it's your fault. Other types of cancers, bam! You know.
Shit.
So that's how it works. Keep that in mind. A vaccine for cancer, it will destroy most cancers. You will not be scared anymore of cancer. 30 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Keep it positive.
Fine then.
Let's see. Let's see you, Sasha.
I'll do the negative.
Yes. Bring it on.
Probably like I just can't be like super optimistic about like the state of our climate. Like I think by 2050 we'll be at like around a 2 degrees Celsius rise compared to pre-industrial average. I think we'll see like no summer Arctic sea ice, probably. I think the Great Barrier Reef, as well as most coral reefs, will be dead. I think there'll be massive heat waves under the water. I think we'll have more fires, more droughts, more really bad weather. I don't think we'll get it under control, honestly, because trades are going to continue to fuck things up. We're going to continue to sell more and more shit. Probably will also advance in, all kinds of renewable energy because that also sells. And hopefully we'll start phasing out fossil fuels. I hope. I don't know. I'm sure solar panels will get much, much better. And I don't think in terms of climate, I think things are going to get a lot worse. At least by 2050 for sure. I think.
Irreversible. You think?
I don't know. I hope not.
Oh, man.
Irreversible or not manageable, they're kind of...
Okay.
So no more ice at the poles.
Not in the summertime, I think.
Sasha, 0 stars. You gave me depression.
Yeah.
Well, I think in Antarctica probably there'll still be ice, you know, but not in the north.
Oh.
I give you 5 stars because I think that's what's going to happen, and because I think mine is good, so I will have no cancer. Back then, I was like, like no problems, you know, climate change,
heat wave or fire,
heat wave,
or a massive tornado.
I think it's very plausible, you know, to what you said about climate change. I think it's very plausible, based on today's trend, you know. You know, we go up, but it's not the heaven, it's the hell. You know. Okay, so people, keep in mind, in 2050, we are going to either have hive minds, we are going to travel at close to the speed of light. People will be smarter and more informed about these problems that we have today, and maybe you'll tackle climate change. In opposition to that, coming in the second place, Sasha is like, we're going to get fucked in terms of climate change. And I hope that we're going to get rid of cancer.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll bring back the mammoth.
Yes. We need mammoth.
What for?
Bring the mammoth.
In very warm weather.
Yes.
What
yeah.
for?
They will die of heat strokes again.
Put them on Mars.
Yeah. Oh, and I also think that maybe we'll find some life on other planets.
2050?
Ooh.
Like little or signs that it existed.
Microbes.
Yeah, microbes.
Who are you to have 2 choices now?
Sorry.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to say anything else about 2050, do it now.
Or shut up forever.
And then we can go on about it.
What we can
2050?
What, Roma?
What we can say after all the prediction about we're all gonna die?
Yeah. 5 stars for accuracy.
I'll give you one, because then I will have to shut up forever because I put that rule, so I don't want to. And I would say that everything will be so-called smart to the point of the collection of data and trade, attention trade economy and social credits will kind of replace money. So I would say there will be no money in the current form that we are used to, like physical money will get phased out completely, and digital, it will be more like digital currencies that will be so connected to this data trade and attention trade that people won't even notice that anymore. You won't even know. They will just stay in an apartment and their data will be mined, they'll be full of ads and so forth, and they will have the impression that it's such a free world. It'll be even trickier to understand that, and they will be given social scores. I think the social credit system that you see in China is going to infiltrate in other cultures. So I think you will see that emerging.
Yeah, so by the way, a little bit addition to that, so I think we will have kind of services or something like that we can sign on, and this will replace all the payments and so on. So basically, like now you can buy the package of some services and pay the price like $10 for something. I think probably maybe in the future some other services like you do day by day, like you can sign on for the delivery of food or something like that. So everything around will be available by signing on. Or probably if you're speaking about the social rating or something like that, probably some of these services will be available to the people with the certain level of ratings and something like that.
Like in China now. Actually, in China, there are stores that you can pay with your mugshot. You put your face into the camera and then probably you pay directly. Or like these Amazon stores now that are so convenient. You just go there, they have 1,000 cameras. You take whatever you want and you go out. And they will charge you afterwards and make a Prime account, probably. Who knows? So I think that's going to be in the 2050. It will be so seamless. They like this word, these fucking companies. It's so seamless. You don't even feel you are getting raped in the ass, but you don't even feel it. It's so seamless.
Oh, very nice. Involved.
Yeah, it's so nice.
Yeah, you'll probably be able to purchase anything with just like your face, and you'll probably walk into some places and you can just like you don't even want to buy it, but you looked at it so much that you just like automatically bought it.
Yeah. We were laughing about this the other day. Like probably in the future, you'll just if you look too much on a product on a website on a store, you already purchased it because they already know that you want it. They have no other choice. You purchase it. Congratulations. I don't want it. Well, it's too late.
No returns.
No returns accepted.
But yeah, and I think these companies will just get better and better and better at just selling all kinds of useless shit to dumb consumers. And that will contribute to our problem with climate change.
And 30 years is not even that far into the future. If you think about 30 years, 30 years ago, I was 15. I was like in school. It's
no, I wasn't even born.
Yeah.
Even Roma wasn't born, right?
Yeah. Oh,
but it's not a long time.
You were 15.
Yeah.
You were not.
Yeah, you were. Yeah.
You were like.
Yeah.
You can
Roman.
be born with people of lower class can be born with some kind of that level of services that is available for. But for some price, you can raise your level and give an access for something else, like the better places to live or something like that. That's cool. It's seamless.
Oh.
Seamless.
See, why didn't you just say so?
Okay, let's see. Where do we move from here?
Okay, so do we want to just do whatever far future you want to talk about, or a specific?
Maybe we can do an intermediary one to try to force ourselves a bit.
Go on.
200 years from now?
What?
200 years?
Or 100? We did 50.
She's right.
So.
What,
I think either 100 or 200, they will be so wrong that it's not going to make any difference.
Do it.
Do it.
The year 2000. Oh God.
2222. Huh?
Yeah, 2222.
2222.
That's the one. That's the year.
That year. What's gonna happen?
Let's
then,
see.
guys? Let's see. Who's first? Cody.
Yeah. Do it. It's good for you. The simulation. We figured this thing out. So if you got the supercomputers now, right? We're gonna. What? Yeah. 2222. Yeah, that year.
I figured out how far away that is.
The simulation. Okay, so you have your supercomputers right now, and they're crunching Sasha's sweet climate change numbers, and it's not looking good right now, right? You're compressing years of physics basically into a small period of time. All right, it's 1,000 years is 10 years kind of thing, and we can increase this with more processing power. Tio, all right, you know where I'm going with this. We're uploading our minds to the digital interfaces. Can we also benefit from the simulation?
Simulation of our lives or the environment and everything.
We're doing TROM-Casts in the year 2222. There is also a simulated version of us doing TROM-Cast in the year 2222.
Why?
Because we're in the
ask those three
system.
questions. Why? For what?
Why?
What
Because
for?
Are you kidding me? Think about it, Alexio? This life no longer matters to you. It's not you only live once. It's you don't even know how many times you're living.
But you're not you anymore.
You are you. We got a snapshot of you, Tia. We got a snapshot of you in the year.
It's not me anymore.
No, well, yes, okay. Well, now you're going into the existential crisis. If I clone you,
you have to, because you want to sell me this.
Yeah, okay. So
don't just
cloning
kill
you.
me and clone me.
Well, I'm not killing you. There still needs to be two of you. You still exist in the year 2222, but you also now have clone Tio. These two don't
an
meet.
avatar.
Yeah, digital avatar.
It's a digital one?
It's a digital avatar. Okay.
It was this movie. I saw this clip of this this fat, whatever, dirty people sitting in their what's a movie or something, video saying in these fucked up houses, but it's they had these gadgets on their fucking eyes and brains, and they're actually all of their lives they lived in this digital world where everyone could be anyone that they want. It's almost like Second Life, but like a lot better.
Exactly. It's it's an actual Second Life, but like, I mean, since it's a simulation, you could fuck with like the base level physics or whatever, or like, yeah, you could do things. You could start doing things, and it could be a digital playground essentially. It's like a holodeck. If you guys are like Star Trek dudes, right? You just go into the box, and it just simulates whatever. Like that would be you. This would make a clone of you. I don't know if that you would be you or if
this is avatar though.
It's a digital avatar. So, but I don't know if we could actually duplicate a digital Tio, or if your mind is like temporarily put into the digital interface kind of thing. Like you'd be hooked up like Matrix style. Right?
Well, I don't know the details. It's your idea.
Well, okay. Well, that's what I can't solve the existential crisis of what happens when I clone Tio and then there's two Tios, but they both think he's Tio. Like Tio 2 thinks he's Tio 1. And
so I will be me all the time. Doesn't matter. I know this kind of conundrum. What happens if you like completely make a clone of
a one-to-one? A one-to-one.
From my perspective, there will be another one. So if you kill me, you kill me. There is another copy of Tio and be like, oh fuck, the other guy died. Hope you don't kill me.
It's like an identical twin.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a lot fucking trippier than an identical twin. Like, it's like,
I mean, you have perspectives.
Yeah, you'd have like a hive mind with yourself kind of thing. That would be fucking just. Oh man, it just.
Hive mind, they say.
Yeah, well, I mean, because you both.
Would you like that? Would you like to be in this virtual?
Oh, I already live in the virtual world, my dude. I'm never leaving. This would just be like you get like it's like VR plus, and you get to do whatever the fuck you want instead of like just Beat Sabering or just slaying dragons and shit. You could do it. It's all part of the same.
How do you do it today? You have to buy games, right? And then buy whatever things.
You have to buy the software. You have to load it up.
Don't just do whatever you want.
No,
you need to be limited.
We build the huge supercomputer, like the Large Hadron Collider. Only this is like just a global thing that you can just plug into. It's got the power. It's got what we need. It's got the chips, man. It's got the chipset. Okay. And we plug ourselves in, and we have this digital playground, and we get into this timeless space where 1,000 years is like 10 years. They did a Black Mirror episode on this, I think, actually. They fucking like they were old fuckers. They were old people, but like met up in a club in the virtual world and like hung out and shit. And yeah, spoiler alert, motherfuckers, if you haven't seen Black Mirror, like season 3. But yeah, they're like old fuckers and shit, and you become young. You could become whatever you want. You could like metamorphosis on the fly, and there wouldn't be any cancer in that world unless you wanted it, Tio. And then
but you will be cancer in your real life, right? And you
don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. That's why you're running. That's why you're running into the simulation. It's because we're just like, fuck this world. And if we could just get enough time,
you're still there. Like if your avatar is there, but you are here. If you get cancer, then your avatar might be there too. But
man, okay, I didn't know about. Maybe the cancer, can but there could be less negative effects. Maybe the cancer could give you like a bonus in the virtual world or something.
The cancer will be cured by then anyway. There'll be a vaccine.
I think. Well, I mean, yeah, because if you got that level of compute, and like the simulations are not just for us. That's just where I want to take this. But then you can crunch all like climate models and whatever. You can do like these incredible periods of times in like very short order. So like we don't need to like watch this Earth like as we heat it up over the next 100 years. Like what the fuck happens to it? It's like we understand physics enough that we can simulate it accurately.
Yeah, but simulation shouldn't be to like help us predict the real world and manipulate the real world, because else simulation exists into what? Some computers, like a digital realm, that also have to be physical somewhere, some servers, right? On Earth or whatever. So do you think that people just migrate digitally almost fully?
Run away, Tio, and then you can go into the simulation, and then you have a simulation in the simulation. You just go deeper. All right, you're running from your problems now. Don't worry about climate change, Sasha. Don't worry about cancer. You're running to Infinite.
Okay.
That's all you got to do, man.
Okay.
It's simple.
Live inside your computer, basically.
You don't know that we're not already.
I'd give Cody 5 stars for enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And not stop at that. Okay. Okay. So
Next.
2222.
222.
Who is next? Alexio, 2222.
Same order.
In the ear, do mi do sute doze shidoi.
Do
It's all simple, really.
That was Romanian, if nobody knew that.
Oh. See, that's why I need Elon Musk's like brain thing.
So I can give you an interesting prediction, a personal one. The language we speak now will be very different by that time. Because we will have human-machine integration. There is a book published by Theo about this topic. And like cyborgs, not something very artificial, but to augment our capabilities as humans, like exoskeletons and technologies like this. But the language, another topic very well documented by Theo, will be, in my opinion, very different from today. And why? Because the technology, and if my prediction would be by then implemented well with traveling at very
Speed of light.
high speeds, yes, near the speed of light, we could explore maybe by that time the nearby stars, because there are a few light years the closest stars from us, so we have this kind of technology I dream of, to travel very quick according to the physical laws of the universe. But another prediction would be they discover a way to alter the laws of physics. I don't know, not only a technology, a way. Something we cannot define now because we don't understand well. And maybe like the black holes who can alter the course of time, like slowing down. Maybe a technology I'm speaking too much about technology and I started with language, but they are related because what language tries to enable us is to define some things that are not yet created now, but they may be available in about 200 years. And maybe this time frame is not so big. Maybe what I'm imagining now, accepting language, that for sure can change in 100 years, not 200 years. But it's related to everything we do as a language, in my opinion. And there are some words we are using now related to internet, to the new devices and our way of living now that may be different 200 years from now. Maybe the pollution in our environment would be higher or lower. We don't know now. It depends on what the humankind will manage to do until then.
When it comes to language, maybe you imagine something like, because you mentioned this book that I wrote about, one about language and another one about human machine, and I talked about language there too. You imagine something like different, instead of using words and writing them and sounds, we may use other kinds of devices that we can feel. For example, I given an example in the book. You could feel distances. Maybe you can make it a device that you can feel distances instead of talking about distances, because you don't know like how far away is the moon, but if you could kind of feel that rather sensorial means, like is this girl who was like feeling earthquakes, around the world. Whenever an earthquake will happen, this device in her body will just trigger something into her. You are talking about this kind of different interpretations and language becoming completely different with technology. Mm-hmm.
And maybe imagine language, as you very well described in the TROM book, according to an evolution related to historical discoveries and so on. But the language also depends on the things we want to represent. And maybe, as you said now, we want to represent distances by feeling it, not by sounds or writing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a very good explanation how it can change. A good example, like sensorial representation of information.
Yeah, like imagine, I was thinking when I was writing that book, imagine if a friend comes to visit you, right? And you don't know where he or she is, and you have to look at the phone today. It's like, oh, where is she? Like, it's 30 kilometers away. But what if you can feel the closer it comes to you, the closer it gets to your place? You kind of feel that, like you feel when you stay on the edge of a cliff, you feel kind of, oh, it's so high, What if these kinds of things will be integrated, maybe, into us? It will be very different from what we understand today as language.
Or to feel direction, like always is north,
it was an experiment with this belt. They put a belt on people that will just give them an impulse for where north was located. So wherever you move, north was like it's in our left hip or in our front belly, and just that's all it did. That belt, around your waist, and it made people orient so much better in space because it's like you are connected with the north in a way. You feel that. So imagine that will be fantastic. Yeah, I give Alexia 5 stars for that because I really like the language thing. I think it's going to be very different. Yeah, well, he promoted TROM books, but it's not a bad.
Yeah, okay. Elon Musk could give me 5 stars.
By the way,
probably
recently about that scientists found like some kind of mechanism of like birds, they trying
navigation.
to orient, navigation and orient with some special cells, and they thought that some kind of spooky things happens in those cells, like to the quantum physics and so on. So, and they actually trying right now, as far as I know, to find such like evidences anywhere in the human body or something like that, where we probably can have this kind of legacy from our ancestors and so on. So they can actually try to find if the humans can like wake up these things, or just develop it more, or just use it somehow. So probably on some kind of level we might still don't know, in the brain or something like that, we can probably feel the fields around us that invisible and so on. So it's very interesting. So yeah, 5 stars. That's definitely.
Okay.
Hey, who's next? Who is next? Roma, or who was next?
I can try. So I have one prediction for you for 2222. So, well, I think this trade-free movement will do a lot of free stuff. So we just don't need money anymore. So all have all those goods.
5 stars.
So yeah. Next one. So yeah. But speaking of like social changes and so on, so I think like this, if we not gonna die soon, like probably it will be like a time when then some social changes will be brought up on the scene, because I think as far as we see, like in the past, we have this like a blast of the technology, like in nearest 60 years or something like that. So I can predict that probably the technology level and all of this organization, no matter of the like, it's all the trade based, of course, it's not like to speak about, but anyway, we will have like a lot of the like, technology platforms and so on. So, and I guess at some level, the level of the society organization and so on probably will be much lower than the technology level. So from this point, I guess it's like a lot of scenarios, you know. So like the bad companies like rules all of the people, they're all the slaves and so on. So probably like that. But if we're speaking about positive things, yeah. So probably it may look like that is what I see, that we have this thing like globalization, so on. Of course, it's all trade again, so no like surprises here. But at least with all these dynamics, I think some kind of other processes are also moving, like people because of an internet and so on. So people trying to know better about the world, about the people around. So it's not like previously, then you have like your little castle somewhere in Germany and all of that, you know, all your life that this is how it works. So it's like you have your king and so on. Now it's like more and more the processes about understanding. So even all of us like strive to understand more things, more information. We will have even more information in the future. So I think if we are speaking about positive things, so I probably in 222 we will have kind of the revolution or something like that. So people will be more mixed between the countries. So the borders will be not so like that, at least. So probably more transparent, more things. So of course the like all other stuff that we have here right now with the borders, with the split up of the people, of course they will continue to exist, I think, in some form or another. But at least for me it looks like we can jump over it in some kind of a way. Of course, if climate changes not kill us all before that.
Okay, so more like a globalized. You are
Yeah,
so more a globalized society.
Yeah,
regardless how that may mean, but it's a lot more globalized. People are more mixed.
Probably it will include the trades and so on. So it will be developed, all the profits and so on, and probably in some other formats or ways and one another. But of course, the globalization will take a step into the world.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. Probably that's going to happen. Noel.
5 stars. I agree.
5 stars.
Oh,
yeah,
very nice.
Nice.
Thank you.
Well, I'll say for 2022, we'll all be riding T-Rexes.
No.
2022. Don't get my hopes up about T-Rexes in 2 years.
Whoops, wrong. Oh yeah, two. Okay. Well, let's hope, I guess, that nation states no longer exist. And it'll be good, right?
I like that.
And all right, and not only that, but corporations, no more.
What?
Maybe people would understand that they're no longer needed. So no more corporations, and like there'll be a whole new experience of life. People wouldn't know of corporations or nation states, and they'd be a lot. They wouldn't have the bigotries that we know of. And since the world is more connected, probably like poverty in the African continent is no more, and there's no more underdeveloped nations. Everybody's trying to help each other. It's like almost homogeneous throughout the world.
You're such an
Positive for
optimist.
this TROM-Cast.
You're so positive.
Very positive. I hope I'll give you 10 stars out of 5.
Oh, I like it.
Oh,
For the positivity.
I keep on giving you stars. Hopefully that will make a difference.
Yeah, hopefully the stars mean something.
I give you like 2 because I just said.
Oh, God.
It will happen. And I really like the idea.
Yeah.
But I just when my turn comes, I'm gonna say the opposite of what you said.
Just gonna stomp on your hopes and dreams.
I hope you're right.
yeah.
Yeah. If you want to add more to your in your defense.
Angel.
Well, since the whole global movement's pretty new, like only 100 years, I think, like talking about the internationality, and so maybe in a few more centuries for change to come, it'll become more popular, or it's global. Since everything's Americanized now, so I can see like a different type of, not Americanization, but like a homogeneous culture.
Oh yeah.
People understand, and they're not so caught up by the voodoo cultures that each other has, but a more understanding and scientific, hopefully. Or we'll all live under a dictator, a globalist corporate dictatorship. Every second we see Amazon ads and Pepsi.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Pepsi culture. But
Pepsi culture, yep. Yeah, that's all I'll have to say. Hopefully, the movement, just becomes general.
Could be true that.
Christianity, Christianity, the early Roman Empire, it was like not very common, but then it becomes more common. So maybe this movement, it'll take probably, hopefully, it doesn't take hundreds of years, so we can see it. But you never know. It takes time to spread. You never know.
Yeah, maybe in like 200 years, people will be forced to come up with something radically new when in terms of how they organize their society and understand the core of their society is not just like superficially politically, So maybe can force something good out of that, though it can be the opposite too. So we never know. But yeah, I think it's true in the sense that, like you and Roma said, kind of the same thing in a way, that it should force some change, some radical change in terms of how we organize our global society, probably global. Yeah.
You can say that it's already quite global in terms of, all nations are basically interacting with each other, trading with each other.
But it's new.
Global market.
But it's a new thing. I think that's what they are saying.
Yeah, no, and I agree that.
And if you let this thing cook for like 200 years.
So you can just rob the people for that after they feel the new way of thinking and so on. So they will continue to expand this more and more, I think. Of course, it will have time.
China will just take over the whole rest of the world slowly. And
we will all become Chinese.
We'll all become China under the social credit system.
Yes.
And I forgot to say that about 2050 predictions. I think by 2050, China will be the global power instead of US.
Whoa. Scary.
Probably.
Yeah.
Leave the vaccine.
I don't think you're going back to the States anytime soon there, Sasha.
Yeah, but let's hear you, Sasha.
What about you?
You want to end up with some negativity, eh?
Oh, yes.
Okay. I'll try to keep the balance. Okay. 2. I think we're going to cure cancer with a vaccine. Oh, that was for 2. I think that
going to find
I try to keep a balance because it's either it's technology and it's society. So I'm talking about health. I force myself to talk about health because it's a bit more maybe predictable, as these problems will force people to fix them. So I think that by 2.2, we kind of solved most of the diseases, like including aging, because it's the technology advances and knowledge so fast that these things will, in terms of health, think about biotechnology, think about gene editing, think about all kinds of therapies. So in terms of technological, and I'm not saying that you will benefit from those, but probably most diseases, most communicable diseases, and including aging, probably will be either fixed or be really well controlled to the point of not being much of a problem. So when it comes to health, we will move. My point is that we will move from trying to fix problems when it comes to health to improve biology, to go beyond that, to have a different kind of biology, to improve from senses to prolong life in different ways, or I think we'll phase out the mechanical technology and we replace it with bio technology, which like we work directly with cells, and tissues, rather than little robots made of metal and other parts like that. So I'm trying to keep myself optimistic, okay? So probably, it will be a revolution in editing biology, because it's such a new thing right now. We're kind of toddlers when it comes to do something with our bodies. We put this fucking mechanical pieces of technologies, like these pumping hearts, or this like mechanical hands, and probably we can regrow hands in 200 years, and we can repair tissues and organs using biology. We will probably look back in the past and be like, oh my god, that was so cruel to use, like, you have to use biology. Don't fucking use an artificial hand, just grow one. It's such an amazing thing when you have a really bad cut or something. I one time I had this how was that called, kite. Okay, I had this kite and it was quite a bit powerful, and the string wrapped around my finger, and then just it took one part of my top of the finger. Okay, and then I only had it it's clinging. It was like attached a bit from my finger. I put it back and I rubbed myself. I rubbed my finger into some tissue, but it's like you cannot tell it a thing. It just merged together. And all of us have this problem with scars. You have like a big cut or like this fucked up cut that you have, and it kind of gets the skin and everything is getting back together. It's like regrowing. It's a marvelous thing, and I think we have shared nothing about this thing. And in 200 years, I feel like this will explode, because we will discover things that look completely surreal today, like regrowing a limb or repairing a heart using biology or any kind of organ. So that's my hope there, that we will see this will be the big switch to a biotechnical world when it comes to human health and human bodies. And we probably fix most of the diseases, and we will go into the realm of going on top of that. I don't know how that will look like. Maybe improve our hearing, improve our sight so much that will be different how we see the world. Hopefully cure baldness. For fuck's sakes, cure baldness. Is it that difficult? Jesus Christ, So yeah, that's my I try to be optimistic, because I'm always negative in this TROM-Cast. Like I let Sasha now. I think Sasha just took my role.
Well, stars out of 5.
I give you 5. I was actually going to say something similar, but I have a little bit of a bleak tone to it, a little bit, because I also think maybe there'll be this biological revolution, and we use maybe more and more intelligent design, editing genes and things like that to phase out, maybe certain diseases, certain problems, all kinds of things. So more and more of this genetic engineering for all kinds of things. 3D printing meat, maybe, food, things like that, more. But I was also going to say that I can also see this, aging being cured, most diseases being cured, but there being kind of two classes of people, at least two classes of people being cured for the upper class, whereas I kind of see it going towards like Hunger Games, for whoever's, if you've read that book. It's basically it's about a very like technical civilization that has different districts that work for these upper class that make all kinds of things for them, but all of these people in these districts are very poor and living in really bad conditions. And
kind of like today.
Yeah, like today, yeah. So I feel like it's going to be in terms of that kind of societal structure. My prediction, I hope it's more like what Noel says, but I'm kind of a pessimist, so I kind of feel like the opposite way, where it's going to be like these monopolies getting more and more power, upper classes getting more power, and continuing this struggle with very poor people being in really shitty conditions, and the rich having like immortal, being, curing aging and making perhaps a different species out of humans. I don't know, by the year 2222, maybe that's too early to biologically engineer us into another species, but maybe eventually.
Oh yes.
And maybe they'll bring back the Neanderthal.
You want to bring back
I'm
the
not
mammoth
saying-
and
Do you want
the
the
Neanderthal?
you want
I'm not saying they would.
dinosaurs, yeah.
I'm saying maybe it will be possible, and it will have very deep implications. To see if how similar Neanderthals were to Homo sapiens. Could you raise a Neanderthal and have it be like a normal, like similar to a child?
Yeah.
Maybe they'll be smarter in some ways. Maybe they'll be dumber in a lot of ways. Maybe how different. Of course, it will be different from a Neanderthal in its own environment.
Nah.
And Tio's like, they're never gonna do that.
They'll never make a Neanderthal riding mammoth.
I
Probably
doubt.
not. Well,
I doubt. For Ron, because Neanderthals, why is so special about? There are many kinds of species of humans.
Yeah.
But it means when you create a baby, probably you need some. Well, at least okay. Now you need some surrogate mother. You just.
Yeah.
But in the future, maybe you grow in a fucking jar or something. But it has too many implications. Like people will be like, "Oh, only if the Chinese are doing it." I'm sure they are going to do it because they also did that genetic engineering. Nothing against Chinese people, just Chinese government. Okay, they did already some genetic engineering thing that was shouldn't do that about HIV. Curing people from HIV and so forth. But yeah, I don't know.
But that's the thing. It's like we're only in like the very beginning of this like biological revolution or whatever you want to call it. Screwing around with our own genetics from and it's the very beginning. So in the future, we'll have much more power with this. So maybe more and more, capabilities and all kinds of, I don't know, maybe weirdos will want to do all kinds of weird things with these kinds of powers. Maybe
He's
they'll
not
make
wrong.
like a chicken dinosaur,
Right, I like it.
Yeah.
Fried chicken dinosaur.
I'll ride a
Finally.
chicken dinosaur. Yeah.
Okay, should we go like beyond, like completely beyond, like go to like where do you see something? I don't know, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 years.
20,000 years from now, huh? Or 10,000.
20,000. Oh my god, it's like two. Many twos. Two.
Okay, 10,000 years.
Oh yeah.
10,000 years. The Jesus will come back.
I hope so.
Yep, exactly.
Right on time.
Good, yeah. 10,000 years from now, that's kind of the ultimate.
I am a space commander of the SS Amazeballs, and we travel to the edges of galaxies and things, and we do stuff. I don't know. 10,000 years, man. Like,
Yeah.
What am I? I'm not here, I'll tell you that. I'm not on fucking planet Earth. I'm hopefully out of this heliosphere, and I am somewhere else. And maybe I've contacted these other beings. Yes. We found the aliens, Tio. We found them, all right? We just had to travel very...
Or they found us, or?
We found each other, Tio, okay? Because we're all one. It's the universe, man. We figured it out. We cracked the code, okay?
Whoa.
Yeah. Figure out... Yeah, oh, it's gonna happen. I mean, 10,000 years from now, definitely. I mean, we had woolly mammoths. Now we have no woolly mammoths. Then 10,000 years in the future, we have aliens and we have oneness. Jill, we're going to take over the universe, all right? And then there's probably universes within the universes. You know, almost like the simulation, only...
I hear nothing about Musk now. What the fuck happened to him?
What happened to Elon Musk? I think he died out on Mars, or he's floating around in his stupid space car around Earth. Somehow he's managed to keep the orbit stable over all these years with his amazing technology. But he does not leave this place. He does not leave. It's here, Mars, or bust. That's it. He's going out with a bang.
He will be the new AI assistant, probably.
I think there will be a digital Elon Musk who will be commanding my space station as we travel through the galaxies to doing trade fee things for the universe.
You're saying that that it's about finding some alien species, huh? That's the main thing.
Well, you have to like connect. It's like that's the next way I could see us progressing is like contacting like a complete separate evolution from ourselves. Right? Meet up. Where are the overlying? Is the universal truths. We'll figure them out, Tio. And what can you do with universal truths in this thing? And then we could take them into Elon Musk's simulation, right? And we could do all the things. But then you could simulate whatever you want.
For the home viewers, now, out of all 6 of us, who do you think does mushroom trips?
Who could it be? Connectedness, oneness, it's here, Tio. I think we all put psilocin in the water supply, Tio, and everybody has a great time. Woo. Kumbaya.
Yeah, well, you might be right. I give you the 5 stars now. Because you might be right about aliens.
With
Probably will discover some, but not Elon Musk.
Elon Musk will not be discovering the aliens with us. For shame.
Shame.
So, Roma, what about you? 10,000 years.
Me again. Okay.
Or it was Alexio who was. Sorry about the. Sorry about. Who was next? Who was next?
So I was trying to be realistic this time because
realistic with 10,000 years.
you chose the
yes, reading a little bit through the future timeline.
Okay.
With some possible technological advances, but not only technological, because there may be some kind of events that may change the future in the meantime for us, because these kind of predictions are made by us according to the things we know until now, and some wishful thinking, what we would like to happen by that time. Imagine that maybe we can improve our abilities, not only technical, from the technical point of view or biological point of view, but also from other points of view, like we can speak about religion a little bit, but it's not scientific. But maybe some evolution from the spiritual point of view can change the way we do things, like be a better species for the environment, like be not be so careless. I'm not speaking from the individual point of view, but for the whole
Collective
group of individuals, the collective.
Hive mind.
I like where this is going.
Little bit related to, yes, glad to like it. But imagine that when we speak about hive mind, we may imagine, and I like this theory a little bit when I read about it, not only a hive mind between humans, but with the whole planet, with animals, with plants, with everything. It's like an evolution beyond our current scientific understanding by then. It may happen. That's my possible prediction. Something very unusual, like Gaia Planet. If you read a little bit some other science fiction stories, a possible evolution like a planetary hive mind. Not only very intelligent beings, but everything on that planet. Also trees, also maybe stones. I don't know. At different levels of perception. It depends. But all connected.
Yes.
Okay, so
It can
you go
be
the
a
same
good
way.
solution
Yeah.
to the current issues with climate change and a whole self-regulated planet with everything interconnected and acting for the greater good of everything on that planet. So I think it's an optimistic scenario we can dream of. Maybe
Well,
not
let's
so
see,
realistic.
Alexio. Let's see. We will check.
We'll check.
We
But
will check.
the planet's gonna need some more shrooms in its diet, my friend. Yes.
What about Mr. Roma? What do you think about it? Yeah, 10,000 years. Where do you see? You know, when they interview for a job, where do you see yourself in 10,000 years?
Let me see.
No,
And no one gets scared.
I'm out.
Probably 10,000 years. I still moving to Europe. Yeah. That's my personal
Dreaming of it.
prediction. Yeah. So 10,000 years. Shit. So I think it's probably at least at the level of difficulty is how to predict how aliens can look like. The Hollywood or something like that always imagine it like some kind of humanoid, like with two legs, two arms, and so on. So, but
This one.
yeah, probably it can be anything. It can be any form. Wow,
Like this one.
already there, guys.
That's a year.
Theo made the contact already.
The future is now.
We finally safe.
Yes.
Oh no.
Is there?
Yeah. So yeah, but I think if we are going this way, like if we are trying to like push the borders and to think about how the human life can look like in the 10,000 years, probably we can say that probably it's already not a human kind of form of life, because after all of this time, if we are moving in positive way kind of stuff, so if the technology is evolving, if our genetics also evolving, engineering and so on, so probably I always was little bit confused with kind of cyberpunk stuff, because there's augmentation stuff with all the techniques like embedded in your body, something like that. So I'm more about like what Theo said, that we can grow things out of the body, not just like implant something, something like that. So probably if we are like push borders even further, I guess it's hard to predict that way because, for example, we can have kind of energy form of life or something like that, so we can evolve in something like this. Probably not 10,000 of years, but like even more. And to say what kind of things are bothered such kind of form of life, it's like very difficult because the thoughts, the things, the tasks, you know, they can be completely not understood by us now because we have like these constructs, we have our biology, we have our brains, like chemistry and so on. But probably human can evolve in something like this because, for example, if you speak about the space travel, you know, so one of the big problem, for example, for traveling to Mars, for example, is like we have this we have no ability to confront with the radiation, with the rays in the space, because like now when we are on Earth, we are like shielded by the atmospheric and so on, and the magnetic fields of the Earth. But when we speak about the like traveling, like Star Trek stuff and so on, it's very hard to see realistically on that because we are like a biology form of life, very like very weak in this
fragile
term. Yeah,
exactly. I agree.
So probably if you speak like wider, so probably we can evolve in something like energy form or something like that to change all the like stuff, like our imagination on how human looks like. Of course, it's not like already kind of a human species, but like some kind of scientific prediction, like I can see.
Will be unrecognizable, you think?
I don't think so. I think it's like speaking when we like have a contact with the aliens, you know, the like higher species of the like which manage to drive to other planet to like to ship in the ships or something like that. So how we can speak with them, like what so we can be like ants for them, you know. So it's like just a part of the environment or something like that, because they are so evolved in kind of a way, so they can understand even like we don't try to speak with the bugs, you know, from time to time. So only like kind of special people with mind problems, but in general we like look on that as just part of the environment. So probably if we are trying to even imagine how can future form of life would look like, so it's even hard to understand what the motives or what the like how they live, how they like think of the stuff, what their tasks for them and so on. So it's completely out of our like field of understanding right now.
Okay. Let's see. We'll check in 10,000 years.
Yeah.
Yes, I can't wait. I'll set my timer immediately.
Wait for you here. Let's meet
Legitimate.
there.
Yeah. No, I'll try to run away, but from the question, but he is back.
Go away.
Oh man, I got caught.
That's right.
So
10,000
years.
Yeah.
10,000 years.
Well. The Earth will be turned into a giant spaceship.
Mm-hmm.
The moon will no longer exist. It'll be cannibalized to make the Earth into a giant spaceship. And then, in the giant Earth spaceship, we'll be driving around the universe. And then when we meet the other alien race, it's gonna turn into like the Death Star. When I shoot a laser, it'll be a giant ship destroy.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yes. Go on.
Thank you. It's gonna be great.
Nice.
The poor moon.
It'd be worth it.
It would be worth it. I'm down with destroying the moon. For the greater good.
And after that, we wouldn't have bodies anymore. We'll just be living in the Matrix. And the AIs would just take control of everything, just be controlling the spaceship Earth. They'll just be mining resources, keeping us alive in the Matrix for all eternity, ever after.
Yeah.
There's no more poverty and nothing. Everybody
no more people.
No,
more people. Exactly. Even better. Exactly. You understand?
They solved it.
Oh, I get it now.
Finally. Yeah.
You see, you understand now.
It all makes sense to me.
No people, no problem.
No problem.
Exactly.
The darkest timeline.
That's my vision right there. 10,000 years.
10,000 years.
10,000 years. I'll say that, and take notes because I'll become the next, how do you call those people who predict things?
Nostradamus.
Psychic?
Even better than that.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm better than a psychic. Yes. Fortune teller. Something. I think that you will call this period the Great Rebirth, even that, or there will be no humans. So it's either extremely like there will be only a few humans left, or there will be no humans. Like humans will just completely disappear. I feel like in 10,000 years, people emerge from this trade-based society with this very primitive minds that they want to only like profit, that will drive this world with all of its innovations to a point of experimenting and doing all kinds of crazy shit. I feel like they will, start to travel to other planets and so forth. But, with from biotechnology to nuclear power, using all kinds of ways, to all kinds of interests, I think they will completely fuck things up, like in a big way. So bad that they have to either start again somewhere else, or they'll be like just wipe out the entire fucking species. There will be like no humans left. When people will other aliens, those that Cody hopes will come, they will come to Earth. They won't even be able to find any fucking shit because everything was fucking digital, like Cody was saying. So where is that? They'll just find some old fucking servers. Probably says Google on them with Amazon. And won't be able to decode anything that will be on the fucking things, So I'd feel like, I don't know, realistically, I feel like human species will just disappear in 10,000 years, or it will be an extreme, really bad disaster. I don't feel like humans have the knowledge today to drive this society into a good direction. I don't think they have this. So the most powerful people today, I think, will be this same kind of powerful people that are today will be in 100 years, probably 200 years, even a few 100 years at least, with their own interest there, and it will be difficult to challenge that. So I feel like they will just drive this species towards like a complete annihilation. Probably you won't even recognize Earth. Probably they'll fuck up with the other species too. So you come to Earth to be like, what the fuck? Yeah, but in a big way to completely destroy that. So maybe some will be like left on fucking Mars in a fucking like underground bunker, be like, we call ourselves the Big Rebirth, So that's my prediction, the Big Rebirth,
Like it.
I feel like there are more chances for that than to be like this paradise of great things, because we'll have so much power. I mean, now it's nothing, but look, like you'll see in 100 or 200 years, they have so much power to destroy shit, from an energy perspective, or just like how they affect other ecosystems. It's so much energy. Like imagine the past, say hundreds of years ago, telling them that you can make this fucking bomb that can wipe out cities, entire cities, like nuclear bombs, they would be like, how the fuck can you do that? It's nuts. They were using fucking knives and like fucking rocks to fucking smash their other people's heads. They would be crazy. I think in the future, in a few hundred years, they'll have so much power that they can destroy a planet. They can like wipe out the entire planet. And I think some morons will do it eventually. Give enough times to the morons, and they will showcase that they are morons. They'll fuck things up for everyone. So yeah, I try to be optimistic. I'm happy that we cured cancer. I'm happy that we cured aging. But I feel like we're going to blow ourselves up really badly. 10,000 years, we won't be here.
The end is inevitable.
Oh.
Yeah, because the problem is with all of these technological advances, as great as they can be in some directions, if you have this shitty motivation behind where the purpose is to sell more and more and more shit, to trade, to make more profit, there's going to continuously be more problems with this technology as well. We're also talking about like mining asteroids, bringing all kinds of shit to space.
That was my second one. I want to say
sorry,
that
you weren't finished?
I want to say that the species will end up because Bezos will find this really cool asteroid that has like $45 trillion of materials, and they bring it back to Earth, like close to the Earth orbit, and they will fuck things up, and it will spin and just smash into the Earth, and will fucking die. And everybody told him, like,
breaks.
Yeah, don't do it, Bezos. And he'll be like, no, it's worth 43 trillions. And Trump will say, yeah, bring it. Yeah. I think that would be the second. Please. I think that's how we kind of, that was like the weapon that probably describes the stupidity of like, yeah, bring the other planet closer. Yeah. Enough space. Sorry, Sasha, I wanted to say that because I...
No, sorry, I thought you were finished. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, that was kind of how Tio actually convinced me that, like, climate change is just the beginning. It's not that bad. Wait till they start bringing shit back from asteroids, from mining asteroids, and then completely, like, bring things that aren't even from this planet, and then mess, with our thin atmosphere, and see how much more damage we can make, from that to microplastics to all kinds. I mean,
microplastic will be like, I think it was a past. Probably there will be some nano materials that will completely let loose.
Yeah.
Let loose. You'll be like, because that's what I'm saying. I think we will destroy each other. Let's keep it optimistic, but I think we will destroy each other because you will have the power to, for example, invent all kinds of, like, say, nano materials that if they are not carefully managed, they can spread so much that they can, I don't know, make your body so toxic or make the water and so forth that is almost impossible to clean. Some will say, yeah, but we will also have technology to deal with that. I don't know. I think we evolve so much in terms of technological capabilities, and we are so primitive still how we deal with them that I feel like one will fuck things up. Like, look at in US, it was this problem in Flint, with water. And it was this big guy, like rich guy. And he was like, oh, people are drinking water from this poor river. It was perfectly drinkable, because it goes through filters. Oh, let's invent, we make a company, we hold water and we take the water from there to all of the people in Flint, right? From our own business, it's better water, it's pure water. Look at us. We are not Russian, but I'm talking like that. And they did just that. And then because of those poor decisions, because of profits, they intoxicated many people in Flint and around that area, and a bunch of them died. It was a big kind of disaster. It was the most, in terms of terrorism, it was the biggest terrorist attack in US in terms of like how many people got infected with the fucking thing. So it was a huge deal. Imagine if they do that with something that's a lot more dangerous. Some nanoparticles that can not be cleaned up. Or not fast enough. And that's just one thing. Bringing asteroids and bringing all kinds of new materials, or I think people will fuck things up. I don't know. I feel like they will fuck things up because they won't understand how to deal with this. The hunger, the thirst for that. Oh, let's make more. Let's do more. Like Bezos, like, I'll put this asteroid in America, in Massachusetts, because it fits there. I feel like, I don't know. I want to be optimistic. I'm doing these fucking things like TROM and so forth. I find it difficult to think that things will go better, but I'll still keep on doing these fucking things. So,
but it's still relevant because it's like so long as people have this incentive to profit at the expense of everything else,
yeah,
then we're going to fuck up the planet, our own selves. We're going to fuck up everything. I will also add that there will be a mass extinction in the ocean, probably in the next few hundred years, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
By 10,000 years, everything will be dead in the ocean.
Oh, wow.
I don't know, just fucking like bacteria. It will be yellow, the whole thing.
Oh.
And maybe, maybe all of... yeah. I wanted to say that maybe everything makes sense now because probably, like Sasha was saying, that we will bring back the Neanderthals and all that. Maybe they will be the only ones surviving, and be like, and they will call that the big rebirth. And that will be the big rebirth, and be like, Neanderthals, they brought us back to life. We are alive now. They are gone. Yeah.
Imagine how interesting. Imagine like we didn't know this, and our species was once extinct and then brought back by another species that wiped itself out.
Yeah.
Because they probably wouldn't know.
Thinking of that, I have this other theory that I told you before. I think dogs or cats, they will evolve so much because they're raised with us that they will secretly take over our society. I feel like cooking something
maybe
there.
Cats, not dogs.
Cats.
Yeah.
Definitely cats.
Motia and other. I think they just plan something. What if they will become so intelligent? They'll be like, because they are already like, people feed us, people take care of everything, we just are here reading books,
No, but what about, because pets will die off with humans. Humans will die off, pets will die off their domesticated animals. Who will rule is cockroaches and rats.
Yes.
Maybe we will leave like the evolutionary path open.
To
rats, because we were once like this little fucking rodent, right? So
viruses.
Oh yeah,
viruses.
Probably they are ruling the world right now, but we don't know about it.
Oh.
Yeah, what can I say? If I were to think about, but hopefully we're wrong about the bad side of the story now, and maybe human beings will realize that they have to look at themselves in order to build a society and see what influences their own behavior and focus on that. So that they eliminate these bad behaviors. Like today is influenced by trade. We see in the future, but the point is to look at human behavior because you want to make a zoo for people in the end, and make a good one, make a well-built one, but
So no one's going to say that we're going to live in a resource-based economy 1,000 years from now.
Oh, yeah.
We're not that
Yeah, or whatever that means. Resource-based economy.
That's why we do the stuff like TROM, I guess, because we are wanting to do something better than just all the negative scenarios that we have. So at least we can try. So just try to do at least something that we can, and who knows.
That is true.
Yeah.
Even if we're doomed,
I have no hopes really for this humanity, but I'm still doing stuff. If you give me 5 billion, I'll change. I swear, I'll change my mind. I'll change my mind. I have stuff to do with that 5 billion. We have some chances, I will say. I feel like just give me 5 billion. Let me play.
Buy Amazon stock.
5 billion is peanuts to Bezos. 5 billion. Peanuts.
And a bunch of peanuts.
Yeah, but maybe we will be lucky, and then this fucked up society that we see all around the world, maybe people will get enough of this oh, politicians, they are so fucked up, take one, put the other, take one, put the other. Maybe they get so fucked up, so like pissed off of this that who knows, something new will emerge that is saner. Maybe, I feel like others hoped for that for many years, but
thousands of years, I think.
maybe it will happen at one point. I don't know.
It's like another thing that's hard to predict, I guess, because we never know the real environment of where it happened. So you can believe or not. So someday, some like circumstances, and it would just happen. But maybe it not happen.
One thing that made me think a lot about this prediction is like, if you look back, if I tell you now that, that if you take someone from this society and put it back 10,000 years ago, which is like, oh my God, it's fucking huge, 10,000 years ago, the invention of agriculture, they will not feel that shocked. They will not feel that shocked because the values kind of are the same, people, oh, so you have such a beautiful horse instead of car today, and stuff like, oh, such a beautiful house or not, talking, probably gossiping about people. If you take someone from 10,000 years ago and put it in the future, yes, there will be a shock for them in terms of technology, how things work, but we kind of are the same in terms of values. We want more shit for us, stuff, trade shit. You're kind of the same, but could that be true? Maybe, what if it's true? If you put us from now to 10,000 years from now in a different society and be like, it won't be much different in terms of values. It'll be it could be true, it'll be a bit sad in a way. It'd be like, oh my God, it's like, we didn't go past that, we just have different gadgets now, but that can also be true, with all these technologies in the end, today we use magic things compared to 10,000 years ago. Think about it, look at us now. Are you there? How can the fuck I know? I know about Sasha and I can go check her room. But I don't know. Even that, I'm not sure. But I don't know about you. Imagine that. This is crazy. I just see a representation of you. It would be unimaginable for people in the past. However, most people use these tools to what? Gossip about others. Oh, did you see Erika? Oh, she got married. Such a gorgeous dress. Look at the dress, That's what they use these things for. So despite the technology that is magical today compared to the past, generally, in terms of values, I feel like we are kind of the same like we were 10,000 years ago.
Yeah.
So maybe in 10,000 years, technologically wise, we'll be like, what the fuck is that shit? But they'll still gossip about stuff, or they want to get married, or they want to just acquire more stuff. So that's also something to think about, yeah.
True.
That would be sad.
I know. But go and talk to Galileo and Darwin. Go and talk to them and be like, look, dude, my dude, you don't know. Oh my God, dude. Darwin, friend, 200, 300 years, people are still debating about religion, are crazy. People are still thinking that no, Earth is still 6,000 years old. Darwin will be like, oh my God. Or Karl Marx, who is envisioning like, oh, maybe we can create this abundance of shit, when he was like looking around, seeing like, oh, look, we have horses today, and steam engines. Oh my God, we're so blessed. Oh my God.
Yeah, imagine he saw the amount of stuff we have.
Karl Marx, we have so much shit today, and we are still like poor as fuck in terms of like values, in terms of like our lives or the shit that we own. So keep that in mind all the time. It can be, we like to fantasize, but who knows? Maybe it's a big nothing.
Yeah, the most important change would probably be this change in mentality and values and a cultural shift, a global cultural shift.
Yeah.
And only then can we really progress to a saner society.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's why education is so important.
So yeah, probably the most profound thing is to try to apply all the technology to the society systems and so on. Try to apply to the culture and so on. So if we can do that in the future, near or like other, and we have the time with all the fuck ups we have every day on the nature, on the environment, and so on, it may play the role. Who knows?
I think as soon as we will, as a species, understand that good change won't come from technology. It won't come from much knowledge, but it will come from us understanding what we are as human beings and how we are part of a society. If we understand human behavior, then we have the tools to manipulate our environment to create good behavior if that's what we want. But I feel like today we just put our hands like this, over our eyes, and then we do shit. And then we just do in the world whatever. Yeah, sell, do that, do this, do that. That's what we do today. We don't look at who we are seriously. To put aside this cultural bullshit. Oh, I am a gay 14-year-old white male of Pakistan or whatever the fuck. You're not. You are a human being. You are a human being. You are not black or white. You are not fucking male or female, or these bullshit ideas. You are a human being. When we start to recognize that human beings, stop with the bullshit categories, maybe we have a chance to do something with what we are. Because today we work with something that we are not. We work with some stories that we have about ourselves. These people are whatever, Russians, and these people are Americans, and these people are females and males and gay and homosexuals and whatever the fuck they think they are. Black lives matter. You look at all lives, and it's what annoys me the most. That people cannot look at themselves as human beings. I'm a human being. You guys are human beings. Doesn't matter what you think about yourself. You're influenced by the environment like I am. Make a good environment to make good behaviors and stop with the nonsense playing like little kids. Yeah, maybe we will do something to understand ourselves. So don't look forward in the future like others do. Like, maybe nuclear reaction. Maybe this technology. Maybe we should go to other planets like Musk is saying. Or even Cody. Or maybe the hive mind. Maybe if we connect our minds. What minds? Today's minds, yeah, so understand us. That's why next TROM documentary I'm working on, it will be a big part of the focus to be a human behavior, to explain who we are. I start with the story of myself, how I am the way that I am, the way that I talk, my values, where I'm coming from, where do I pick these things up. We should, like, I think Jeff Fresco was also saying this, and I liked when he was talking about how even anthropologists, they don't quite look at their culture as maybe being primitive. We should look at any culture as maybe being primitive or observe it from distance, Yeah, so that's the biggest educational aspect I feel like in TROM. Yes, the thing with trade is just showcasing what is today's influencing us in a bad way, but actually the point here is about human behavior, who we are, how we behave, and why do we behave the way that we do. And I'm excited about it. By the way, I'll make a live probably here on YouTube too. I'll post that on TROM site as well about TROM documentary, my future plans with that. Because despite me thinking that the fish species will go extinct in 10,000 years, I still feel motivated to do something about things now. And I need to scream. For fuck's sake, I cannot just stay. So you guys keep on screaming. Please keep on screaming, Oh. Yeah, it was an interesting TROM-Cast, and let's see it in 30 years.
Yeah. See you at 2050.
Yeah, 2050.
Yeah, and we'll see who is right.
Who's right?
Yeah. Okay, guys. Before we go, people could please, the ones who watch whatever we do, on tradefree.org, trade-free.org/directory. We have a trade-free directory with all kinds of trade-free goods and services. It's so easy to submit some. Help us submit more trade-free goods and services. There are hundreds there. It's a nice positive thing. So whoever can, just go there and please do that.
Do the things.
Jesus. Yeah.
I'm gonna add some right now.
Go and add something. Add stuff there. All right. I think it was an interesting TROM-Cast. Do you think, guys? What do you think? Huh?
Very nice.
We did good.
Yeah, that's nice.
Definitely.
Great.
Oh.
Great.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Anyone wants to say anything?
Alright.
I will pause for 10 seconds if anyone wants to say anything.
Hakuna Matata.
Okay. Our third Hakuna Matata.
See you in 10,000 years. Then.
10,000
years.
10,000
Let's go to-
years.
Bye bye.
Bye.